My name is Sabrina. I'm 28 years old. My husband, Gavin, who's the same age, works in production management at a major car company. Last year, Gavin got promoted to a senior position, but ever since then, he's been extremely busy and often complains about the poor cost performance of his job. We dated briefly in high school, but ended up going to different colleges and drifted apart. Later, when my parents moved to the countryside for work, I started living alone in the city. Around that time, I reconnected with Gavin at a high school reunion. We discovered we lived in the same area, started dating again, and got married 2 years ago. After marrying, I quit my job at a design firm and became a housewife. Now, I juggle my days as a housewife and as a remote worker. We don't have children yet, but are enjoying life. Well, except for one major issue, dealing with the in-laws' house. My father-in-law has already passed away, leaving a decent inheritance, so the in-laws' house is financially stable, but the problem is my mother-in-law, Terry, and sister-in-law, Vanessa. The in-laws' house is about a 20-minute drive from ours, and they both come to visit often. It's nice they come by, but these two are troublesome, always coveting things around the house and taking them without asking. Gavin gives them permission, being too lenient with his family, and agrees to everything. He dotes on Vanessa especially, since she's still a student and he intends to support her. Thus, Vanessa is always thrilled to come to our house. Then, one day, as usual, they came over. "Hello, Sabrina." "Welcome. What brings you today?" "Oh, we thought we might have a little tea party amongst us ladies today," Terry said with an unexplainable smile. "I even brought some sweets," Vanessa said, showing the bag. "Sweets too? With these two." Feeling obliged to host, I brought out some custard cream-filled Castella that my parents had recently sent me. We started chatting, but they ignored their sweets and gobbled down mine instead. The treats I served were a special, high-end delicacy favored by celebrities, wrapped as gifts and costing over $30 for 10. "Oh, the one you just ate is more expensive than the heap of potato chips you brought. Out of the 10 precious treats I was looking forward to, I ate 1, Terry ate 2, Vanessa ate 3. Only 4 left. It was a special treat from my parents. And then Terry's request was the final straw. "I like these. I'll take the remaining 4 with me, okay?" "Huh? Go ahead." I resigned myself as usual. Every time this happens, I bring it up with Gavin. "Terry and Vanessa are just taking things from our home. You're okay with this, right? I really wish you'd put a stop to it." "But it's just small things. Stuff we're not using, right? Don't make a big deal out of it." Gavin was dismissive just like that. "They're family. Can't you just overlook it a bit? Please, don't be so quick to let them off." "Oh yeah, I'll be careful." His unreliable response disappointed me. Sure enough, Terry and Vanessa continue to take things from our home without hesitation, thinking they've been forgiven. Last time, my wireless earphones were taken. I bought those with secret savings I had been slowly accumulating, something I really wanted because they were high-end. When Vanessa visited and I confronted her about it, "Oh, those! I liked them. Told Gavin and he gave them to me. The sound is really better with those high-quality ones, isn't it?" Gavin gave them away? They were mine. That evening when Gavin came home, I asked him. "Yeah, Vanessa wanted them, so I gave them to her." "But I bought those. I've been using them for a long time." "It's fine. She's still a student. Let's help her out a bit." I couldn't say anything, just went silent. Then Gavin said something unbelievable. "I'm just redistributing the money I earned to my relatives. Think about what family means for a change." "Huh? But we're living separately. Aren't we part of different families?" I wanted to retort, but decided it was too much hassle and changed the subject. "Never mind. Actually, I have a request." "What is it?" "I want a new computer. The one I have is old and difficult to use since I bought it when I was single. Is that okay?" "Is it expensive?" I've been drawing illustrations lately, so I need something with decent specs. I want to update my editing software too, so it might be quite expensive. Well, I'm expecting a good bonus this time. Really? Can I look forward to it? Well, I don't particularly want anything for myself this time. Then I'll do some research. But don't go for something too expensive, okay? Yes, I'm thinking about it. I felt happy. A new computer would mean more efficient work and potentially more income. I immediately started researching new computers. Considering the balance between performance and price, the base unit with added memory, increased SSD storage, and so on. The total exceeded $3,000. I discussed with Gavin and revised the specs to keep it within the $3,000 budget. It's a bit disappointing not to get everything I wanted, but I was very happy to realize the purchase of a new computer. Since switching to the new computer, my work has been going smoothly. Above all, its high performance means no stress while working. The increase in orders means if things continue like this, I might even surpass Gavin's income. I was thrilled with my work. Then, after about 3 months, I decided to visit my parents' home alone as some relatives were coming from afar. It's been a while, so I decided to stay for 2 nights. When I told Gavin, "For a couple of nights, I'll be fine alone, but I'll talk to my family about meals. It's a hassle." So, Terry and Vanessa took turns taking care of Gavin. When I returned home from my parents, I had mostly finished my recent work before leaving, just needing to do the final checks and send them to the publishing company. I planned to return a bit earlier, but catching up with old friends delayed me, and I ended up getting home late at night. Exhausted from the long journey, I quickly took a shower and went to bed upon arriving home. Gavin was already asleep. The next day, as usual, Gavin went to work after the morning preparations. When I went to start my work, I couldn't find the computer. I can't work without it, and all my work materials and illustrations are saved on it. Could Gavin have? But he wouldn't use my work computer. I retraced my steps before leaving the house, checking the last place I worked, but it was nowhere to be found. A thief? No, it's unlikely someone would steal just the computer. Unable to start my work, I was at a loss. I had no choice but to wait for Gavin's return. As soon as Gavin came back, I asked him immediately, "Gavin, my computer is gone." "What happened? It's so dark. The computer?" "Oh, Vanessa took it. We have 2, so it should be fine, right?" "No way!" I was so shocked I raised my voice. "Hey, why would you give it away without asking? My work documents and illustrations are on it." "Well, Vanessa said she wanted it." "But that doesn't mean you can just give it away without asking me. What are you going to do about this?" "Stop nagging. I bought it with the money I earned. I can do what I want with it." Irritated by my persistent questioning, Gavin raised his voice too. "But that computer is essential for me. Do something about it." "All right, I'll go to my parents' house tomorrow, okay?" "No, get it back now. I need it for work." Such a pain. With that, Gavin left the house without even changing. I felt a little relieved to know where the computer was, but I was really fed up with Terry and Vanessa constantly saying they wanted this and that, and with Gavin, who always gives in to their demands. Eventually, when Gavin returned, "Welcome back. Where's the computer?" I asked cheerfully. Then Gavin muttered, "It wasn't there." "What do you mean it wasn't there?" My mind went blank. Vanessa said she sold it to a buyback service because it was full of strange software and hard to use. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She plans to buy a new one for herself. Tough luck. That's awful. I can't believe this. It's already sold, nothing we can do. I'll think about it with the next bonus. Speaking of which, is dinner ready yet? I'm starving. At this point, I was filled with an indescribable rage. Dinner? What about my work? Selling the computer with all the data might lead to compliance issues with clients, not to mention penalties for breaking contracts, and if my work gets misused elsewhere, it's not just about compensation. I vented everything I was feeling in harsh words. "Shut up. Just apologize to your clients." What are you talking about? My reputation is at stake. I might not get any more work. I don't care. I never wanted you working in the first place. Just be a proper housewife. I'm going out to eat if there's no dinner. With that, Gavin left again. He didn't return home that day. All I got was a message saying, I'm going back to my parents' house for a while. Reflect on your own. I won't come home until I've reconsidered. I couldn't stand this life anymore. I was distressed and felt depressed. I spent a sleepless night. I couldn't continue dealing with the in-laws' house any longer. Thoughts of divorce and even revenge started swirling in my mind. The next day, I went to apologize to my clients, suppressing my boiling anger. Fortunately, considering my track record, they agreed to extend the deadline. I managed to finish the illustrations needed for delivery using an old backup version on my pre-upgrade computer. The client advised me to file a police report about the unauthorized removal and sale of the computer. I started to list all the items taken from the house by Terry and Vanessa, checking around. I realized that recently bought bags, cosmetics, and decorative brooches were missing. I decided if I was going to file a police report about the computer, I might as well include a list of other missing items. Then Vanessa called. Maybe she wanted to apologize in her own way. Sorry about that. I just thought the computer was so cool and asked Gavin for it. He said okay, but it was full of weird software and it didn't have the main document or spreadsheet software I needed, so it wasn't really useful, you know? Plus, it was heavy and too big to carry, so I sold it. She explained, but I could hardly understand anything besides the fact that it was English. It's not just about the computer, is it? I've checked and lots of things are missing. I seized the opportunity to mention the list of losses I had compiled. Then, there were so many things I wanted in Sabrina's room. It seemed like you weren't using them, so Mom and I thought we'd use them instead. We did ask Gavin, and he said, take them if you want. Thanks to you, I could brag to my friends, and Mom is the envy of the neighborhood ladies. It's great to get good stuff, she nonchalantly said. My anger reached its limit. Stop it right now. Taking someone else's belongings is stealing, isn't it? And so I had issued my final ultimatum to her. How rude. The things of Sabrina's were bought with Gavin's money, and I see no reason to be treated like a thief. Realizing arguing with Vanessa, who showed no remorse, was futile, I said, whatever. Is that so? Well then, looking forward to more. Vanessa dismissively ended the call. But I was not going to give up. I will pay them back in kind. Be it Gavin, Terry, or Vanessa. No mercy. I followed the client's advice and filed a police report. A while later, Gavin contacted me. Hey, what are you thinking filing a theft report? The police must have reached out to Gavin. The computer was taken and sold. It's clearly theft. Theft, but Vanessa is family. And it was bought with my money, wasn't it? If I say it's okay, you have no right to complain. The same old argument again. If that's the case, I contribute to the household expenses too. Some of the things taken were bought before we were married. Not everything was acquired with your earnings. Tired of arguing, Gavin said, Enough. Just withdraw the report. The police shouldn't meddle in family affairs. It's a nuisance and affects our family's reputation. Remember, you're part of a prestigious family. And with that, he abruptly ended the call. What prestigious family? He doesn't care about me at all. I talked to my dad about it. I see. It's my earnings? That must be tough for a housewife like you. Right? No matter what I say, it always ends with, it's my earnings, and then he starts about his family's honor. What era is he living in? Honor of the family, huh? Well, our family is also a prestigious family. In terms of status, we're above them. But I have no interest in competing over such things, Dad said, laughing heartily. Stop teasing, Dad. Oh, sorry, but you're an adult now. Make your own decisions. I support you. Thanks. I'll decide for myself. I didn't withdraw the report. Initially, Gavin and the in-laws tried to intimidate me, but as they realized my resolve, they switched to the North Wind and the Sun strategy. The email from Gavin was a masterpiece of manipulation, clearly meant to invoke pity and get what he wanted. "Let's stop this pointless fighting. You are an angel, no, a goddess brimming with benevolence. The power of love from your eyes has enveloped me, Mom, and even Vanessa. Yet now you seem to be selling your soul to the devil. You should always remain a goddess. What's done is done, right? Can't you withdraw the report as a sign of your forgiveness? As a token of my love for you, I vow to uphold this promise. If you need a new computer, use my money. Isn't that satisfactory?" My head ached fiercely. Terry said, "I love you. I thought of you as my own daughter. Vanessa feels the same. We should have asked you if it was okay to take things. From now on, we'll consider your feelings too." This gave me chills. There was no communication from Vanessa. The audacity of it all. I transformed my anger into determination, resolving to thoroughly punish this family. My reply to the email was as follows. "I have no such sentiment. I refuse to live a life oppressed unilaterally any longer. The police report is the first step. I will proceed with the next course of action." Despite further manipulative or pity-inducing emails, I ignored them all. The police then started their inquiry. A flustered Gavin called. "Hey, didn't you withdraw the report? This is a family matter. What's going on?" His confusion was evident. I explained clearly and concisely. "I will not withdraw the report. There is no reason to. This is not a matter to be settled as a family issue. Terry and Vanessa are separated from us. Their actions do not constitute intra-family matters. If no action is taken, I will move forward with legal action for theft. Arrest is a possibility, so please act accordingly." The mention of arrest made the in-laws capitulate unconditionally. I then laid out the following conditions. 1. Return all personal items they had taken. 2. Compensate for the computer with one of equivalent specs to the one sold. 3. Compensate for the 15 nearly completed illustrations stored on the computer, at $500 each, totaling $75,000, and other related materials amounting to a total of $100,000. Finally, 4. Gavin must agree to a divorce. Wanting to sever ties with this family as soon as possible, I decided on an uncontested divorce, foregoing alimony as long as I received a fair share of the property. The current residence is a condominium bought by my parents at the time of marriage, so I planned to have Gavin vacate as soon as everything was settled. Gavin's side agreed to these terms, allowing everything to proceed smoothly, and so I withdrew the police report. However, there were several visits by law enforcement to the in-laws' house. Eventually, word of what had happened spread in the neighborhood, and they moved away. I heard that the police involvement became known at Gavin's company, leading to his demotion for tarnishing the company's reputation. He was transferred to a distant rural office. Vanessa, mentally exhausted, dropped out of university and now rarely leaves her house. Terry, busy caring for Vanessa and with household chores, has given up her flashy lifestyle and lives modestly. Although I'm now a divorced person, I managed to continue my work thanks to the efforts of my supportive clients. I also bought a new computer which works smoothly. In the process, I became attracted to the kindness and seriousness of a male contact at one of the companies I worked with. Gathering courage, I confessed to him, and to my joy, he accepted. I couldn't help but cry. Our relationship is going well so far. Actually, my birthday is coming up soon. He's invited me out for a meal. Maybe he'll propose. I daydream in front of my computer. Oops, no time for that. As much as I draw fantasy, I can't afford to daydream in reality. The artwork in front of me is due tomorrow. Looking at the clock, I realize it's already past midnight. Looks like an all-nighter, I think, sipping my lukewarm wake-up coffee. Just a little more to go. Strangely, despite being overwhelmed with work, I find myself smiling.